So yeah, I just wanted to share my 2 cents. It's about
After healing, you don't want attention, you want alignment. Because once you met peace, chaos don't feel like chemistry no more. You could tell who done the work or who's intrigued by your light. Now, the healed don't hesitate. They lean in.
I was about to log off and go get some grading done and then just share this. And it stopped me in my tracks because it aligns with something I shared a few days ago that a lot of people commented on, and they were like, girl, why are you dragging me? Or like, yes, that was me too. And it was something along the lines of like not dating beneath your worth. And another one was like, self-love is boy repellent. And I have a lot to say about that. I'm going to reserve most of what I want to say because I'm healing and I do have work to do. But, I feel like I've learned a lot about romantic love in my life. I was in two long-term relationships from 17 to 25 and then 26 to 33. And then I was single for 5 years from 33 to 38. So I learned a lot. A lot. And in the 5 years I was single, that's when like my spiritual practice was kicked up a million notches, super focused. I dabbled with dating. I wasn't very good at it. I tried the apps for maybe 3 months, and then I was like, my spirit was just like, it's just not for me. And I'm not knocking it. It just wasn't for me. I know people that are happily married now with child that met through dating apps. And I also was, for 18 months of those 5 years, I was with myself, with myself. Like I've shared this before. No dating, no texting, no sexting, no flirting, no sex, no kissing. Just me. And that is where the real growth happens because I see it happen a lot. People that hem and haw about dating. And then I look and they're not really doing the work. And I honestly share this with so much respect. And as someone that was out in these mean streets, in these mean dating streets of New York City for 5 years. And when I said that a lot of folks aren't doing the work, I'm not taking away from that. The like how tough New York dating life, New York dating in general these days, right? How tough it is. I'm not taking away from the fact that there's a lot of ain't shit people out there. It's not only ain't shit men, sisters, ain't shit women, ain't shit people out there. Even with all of that, I assure you that some of y'all are not doing the work. You're hemming and hawing of how difficult dating is, and that dick in a glass case, that pussy in a glass case, you keep cracking the glass and accessing it. Your ex still has access to you. You're fucking a married person, and you're hemming and hawing about not being able to find someone. And I'm gonna say it, forgive the word. Your your words carry so much power. Your words cast spells. Whether you into the brujeria or not, this is not the conversation about that. You are a magical divine being made in the image of God, and your words create the life you want. If you are walking around, to my heterosexual sisters, talking about what do you think God and the universe are going to send you? To my brothers, my heterosexual brothers, if y'all keep saying and and the gold diggers and the chapeadoras, God is going to send you exactly what you are sending out into the ethers. Because again, there's a lot of ancient people out there, and there's a lot of amazing people out there. And I'm saying this truthfully, like, and sometimes to grow, you need to hear the honest truth. Some of you are like, but I'm doing the work. She doesn't understand. I've been accused by one of my friends, like, not being empathetic because I don't know how hard it is. And I'm like, ma'am, I was in those streets right there with you. Like, at a big old age of mid to late 30s dating, right? And I get it to a certain extent because everybody has their own journey. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, like I know it all. That's not what I'm saying. I am sharing my truth was, which resembles a lot of people's truths who are dating at our age. What I'm saying is to get really, really clear and honest with yourself. Take everybody out of the equation. That shit is hard. From like your mama to your daddy to your ex to the people you've dated, everybody. And honestly, y'all, sometimes it's as simple, getting real with yourself is as simple as admitting to yourself that you want a romantic partner. Because sometimes we kid ourselves and we're like, I'm good. I don't need nobody. And if that's you, honestly, in the depths of your being, cool. But if you know, like I knew, that I absolutely wanted a partner and a relationship, someone that I could share my life with, procreate with, just grow old with, I had to get real with myself. And through therapy, I learned that I was fucking being delusional. The white feminist movement, fucking I Am Woman Hear Me Roar movement, had me kidding myself and convincing myself that, oh, if you want a man, you weak. If you want to be in a relationship, you're weak. Somehow something is wrong with you as a woman. Fuck out of here. Like, for real, get the fuck out of here. Yes. And then I had like this whoa enlightenment moment in therapy. Shout out to Sade Asani that helped me, navigate that in my life. I started praying for my man. I wrote down, and I still have the list here. And shout outs to Liana, one of my BFFs. We sat together, and you can't make this up. We were at Cafe Rodi, the Senegalese bistro in Brooklyn. She took out two napkins and she's like, I heard about this thing, make a to list. And I was like, a list? Oh my God, a list. My divine feminine, overexerted feminine energy was like, a list? That's so masculine. Oh my God, that's so heady. I can never. Like, for real. The divine masculine came out and was like, we're going to make a list. One side was must-haves, non-negotiables. The other half was must be nice. And there's nobody that could tell me, it's no coincidence. Liana and I made that list around the same time. This was around like the winter of 2018, like top of 2018. And we both found our mates. We aligned with our mates that we are still with now in the spring, summer of 2019. It's no coincidence. And, it was beautiful to create that list with a person that knew me so well and vice versa. Because there were things I was putting on the like must be nice list that she was like, no, I know that it's not must be nice. It's like, this is a must have, a non-negotiable. And the same for her. Like, she would take my napkin, cross shit out, I would take hers, and then we finalize on our respective napkins. About 3 months after this napkin exercise, I meet a man that I swear is it. Like, this is it. This is my person. The antithesis of the list. He was absolutely a lot of must be nice, not a lot of must have. One thing I was very clear on, and this is one of the things Liana was like, no, we're going to move it into the must haves because it wasn't the must be nice, was a man with no children. The person I was with before Boli had a child, and it was drama for your mama. And I'm not saying that every person that you date that has children or a child is gonna be drama, but I didn't want to fucking gamble, and I was committed. And my friend reminded me, this person that I'm telling you about didn't have one, didn't have two, three children from two different women, both of which he had married, both of which he was divorced from, one of which was recently divorced, like 6 months out, and their child was about 3-4 years old. Liana and my sister were looking at me like, bitch, what are you doing? Remember the list? And I was like, a list, I'm falling in love. And they didn't take it lightly. And they individually were like, are you sure? Especially my sister. My sister and I went through a rough patch. I dated this man for about 5 months on and off, because I would be like, I can't do this. And we both cry. And then, one of us would like, cave in and call and then be like, oh my God, I miss you. And my sister and I, we went through a really rough patch, like not speaking on and off. Like it wasn't good because, and I understand Giri now. She was like, this is not it, Miguel. Like you think it's it, but it's not. And I think for a blip, I wasn't ready for that. And thank God, that I snapped back into the reality that I wanted. And I realized like, yo, my sister and Liana are right. The tipping point was one day they FaceTimed me. They're both at Giri's house, like a fucking intervention. And the three of us are like crying on FaceTime. And I am absolutely grateful for that intervention because I realized that that wasn't it. And homie did not have a good relationship with either of them. He had an okay relationship with the mother of his two oldest children, and then just a terrible, toxic relationship with the youngest one. Something, red flags that I caught later on was one day he's like to me about a situation that went down with like his child and the mom feeling like he was putting the child in an inappropriate situation with a female friend of his, a friend that is a woman. And I was like, yeah, I'm with the mom. And this man was like, are you on her side or my side? I was like, oh, I am on the side of the truth. I am on nobody's side. And that was enough for me to be like, nah. And I was still like pushing through. And I'm glad that my friends lovingly talked sense into me, and I gracefully bowed out. And it wasn't easy. And then that's where the 18-month celibacy started. So I stood committed to that list. And I wouldn't start dating Boli for another year and a half, more than that. And when Boli showed up, it wasn't like, oh my God, perfection. There was some compromising on both ends. Because that's another thing. You are like, oh, I have to compromise. I have to compromise. Ho, they got to compromise too. You think that you gold? You think that people that come into your life don't have to compromise with you? So there was compromising on both ends. And I share this lovingly, honestly, because I feel like I hear so much complaints about dating, and again, not taking away that is hard. I dealt with the ghosting. I dealt with the man children. I dealt with the ain't shit people. I dealt with trust. I was in a relationship with an ain't shit dude for almost 8 years of my life. Trust. So I know the ain't shit behavior. And I also behaved in ain't shit ways. I did. I did. One thing that I will say is when I started dating, those 5 years that I was single, I had a commitment to not ghost anybody. And even with that commitment, I ghosted a couple of really nice men that I wasn't feeling like that. And it wasn't nice. And then I really, really, really became committed. But then you can't win sometimes. I would like call them, FaceTime them. We would go on a date, or I would be like, hey, can you meet me after work? Can we meet at the park? And I would be like, listen, I'm not interested. You're wonderful, but this isn't going anywhere. I don't want to waste time. And about 60% of the time I was cursed out. You a fucking liar. I know you got somebody else. Somebody was like, I didn't like you like that anyway. Three quick stories that stick out. One of them, this dude that I really liked, and we dated on and off, and we would Jones on the phone for hours and text messaging all day, and then we partied in the same scene, and then he'd be like, oh, you're gonna go to such and such? Yeah, I'm gonna go. And I would go giddy, excited to see him, and he would roll up and ignore me. Ignore me. Ignore me, act like I wasn't there, or like say hi to me like towards the tail end of the night. Yo, and I accepted that. Yeah, I would beef, or I'll be like, it, cut him off, and then we would find a way back to each other, to the point that honestly, right before I met Boli, this man texts me out of nowhere. I miss you. I've been thinking about you. Maybe the timing was off. Let's meet. I meet up with him after not seeing him for almost a year. Beautiful time. We kick it. We're talking for like a week, and then he ghosts me. Ghost me. And I was already so tired. I was like, fuck it. Didn't think anything of it. Swore I blocked him. Almost a year later, I kid you not, and I've told Boli the story. November 5th, 2019, the day that Bolivar asked me to be his girlfriend, this man texts me. One of our first dates, we went ice skating, and he was like, on some future. I know how much you love ice skating, and this is the season. I have free tickets to the rink at Madison Square Park. I would love to take you. Yo, I saw that message and I was like, the devil is a fucking liar. I know. I know. Yo, and I sent this man, fucking dragged him in the most loving, respectful, like high vibrating way. Like, get the fuck out of my inbox, lose my number. Like, I'm good, I'm done. To the point, keeping it real, he was at that barbecue on Sunday and did not dare say hi to me on Friday. Story number two. Someone I went to school with starts to bark up my tree out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is odd. But you know what, God? You just never know who it's going to be. So I'm entertaining him. And my friends are like, that's interesting. But hey, you never know. Because he was a relatively cool guy, a little on the corny side, but he was cool, nice guy, entertaining. He is like calling me. He picked me up from the airport. I traveled to Puerto Rico. We're going on dates, right? Nothing physical happened. And then like we just grew apart, but like I felt he got more distant than I did. About 3 months after we're like dating and talking, and then we kind of grow apart, I am minding my business. This is like 2016. Facebook is still a little popping. I'm scrolling through Facebook, minding my business, and I see him at his baby shower. You cannot make this up. Screenshot it, send it to my girls. Some of them knew we were seeing each other. A lot of them didn't. And I'm like, did y'all know about this? And a couple of them were like, oh yeah, that's his long-term girlfriend of like 7 years, which he never mentioned. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had to do a little bit more investigative work because never mentioned her. And there's like a group of sister friends adjacent to my sister friends. I'm like, y'all, any of y'all? And they were like, oh yeah, they've been on and off. And like on one of the aunts last year, she got pregnant, but they're not together. You would have thought that this man had the fucking balls to tell me, yo, we were friends in school. We were friends after school. We dated for a blip. You think that he could have shared that, like, hey, I have a whole baby on the way. Yep. Story number two. I never got an invite. So story number three is not as light. And I hope that there are brothers listening to this because sometimes as sisters, we try to talk to brothers, try to talk some sense into them. But sometimes we know that brothers, you talking to your brothers goes a longer way than us trying to talk to them. So I meet this man on a dating app. He's cool, no sparks, but he was nice. Nice job, into me. He was there, keeping it real. And then I go to his Facebook page and I see that he knows someone that I know. And I hit this person up. I hit my friend up. Oh, I just met so and so on a dating app. And my friend was like, yeah, he's cool. So he was like semi vetted. And we're going on dates. We're going to brunch. We're going to dinner. He took me to my first boxing match at MSG, which was like an experience. And it was cool. And honestly, I was open. I was like, it doesn't have to be fucking sparks the minute you meet. Let's see where this goes, right? The first red flag with this man is we're at brunch and I'm like, oh, excuse me, I'm texting. And I'm like, oh, I'm just texting one of my best friends. This was Erica, where I'm at and who I'm with. And he was like, why? It's brunch. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's New York. We're dating. I don't know you. You don't know me. We always tell each other where we're going when we're going on dates. He found that a little weird. He was like cool about it, but there was still some pushback. I was like, my eyebrow raised a little, and that stayed in the back of my mind. Because he was explaining, oh, it's kind of offensive, a status. Oh, it's kind of offensive that like you wouldn't feel safe around me, blah blah blah. Taking it mad fucking personal. But then his fucking true colors showed later on. So I gave the brother the benefit of the doubt. Fast forward. And this is what I mean about not taking responsibility. Because I could have been like, okay, after that. But I was like remaining open, a little bit desperate. We got to keep it real. And we're dating. It is getting nicer. He invites me over to his house. And I'm like, I think about it. I'm talking to my friend that's friends with him. And I'm like, all right, I'll go. We could watch a movie. We could chill. Same thing. Share my location. Take a Uber there. We're there. We're chilling. And, there's like banter between us. And then he's like, oh, did you share your location with your friends again? And I'm sitting like on his couch. He's like by the TV stand a few feet away. I was like, of course I did. And then he was like, oh, here we go. Like taking it personal again. And I'm feeling like my fucking blood boiling at this point. Then this man, as a joke, he goes into his wallet and takes his ID out. And he tosses the ID my way. And he's like, why don't you take a picture and send it to your girls? Wouldn't that make you feel safer? And he starts laughing. Yo, instinctively, intuitively, I got up so fucking fast to this fucking man, and I left. Como un abejón, like a fucking bumblebee. Dominicans have this saying, zipped like a fucking bumblebee out of there. And my voice is shaking now because it was like, what in the act? And I called my Uber, and I remember instinctively the first person my spirit said call was my friend Reggie. Yo, and I called Reggie, and I remember it was an older South Asian man in the Uber. It was like a 20-minute ride. I cried the entire way there. Like, what the fuck is this real life with Reggie on the phone? Yep. And what I just shared in the caption about sometimes it's we betray ourselves, nobody betrays us. That's not victim blaming. That's not what I'm doing because he was fucking wrong. I did not feel safe in his presence, but he already showed me fucking colors a few weeks prior to that when we were at brunch. Yo, and that experience to me, it was jarring. But it like sharpened me up after that. It sharpened me up, and I've always been clear. Even when I met Boli, we are sharing locations. My best friends have your address. Because also as a heterosexual man in the dating scene in New York, there are certain things, fortunately and unfortunately, that you have to be prepared to just manage. That a woman is going to share her location because that's just the reality of it. So y'all, I know how difficult it is. And I have dated men that have shared with me that they share locations as well. Oh, I shared the location of the restaurant with my brother. I shared your profile pic with my sister, and I respect that. So it's not only women, but all of this to like just showcase like honestly been there, done that to a certain extent. And even with all of that, I worked really hard not to close my heart out. Even with all of that, still remain true to that list. Even with all of that, still remain true to the belief that there are really good people because I'm a really good person. And I cannot be the only good person out there. Me and my friends and their partners and my brothers, like my blood brothers, there are really good people out there. And I kept continuously like fine tuning my perception until I aligned with someone that was like, yes, maybe this message reaches one person, 100 people, at least one person to understand that like more often than not, we are the ones betraying ourselves. We say we want one thing, but for different reasons, we accept other things. We accept crumbs. We date beneath our worth. And then we hem and we haw. Or we have experiences in the past, which are very valid, and we stay stuck in the past. And I'm very grateful that I didn't stay there because I was a little bitter when the last relationship ended just because the nature of the person I was with and then his behavior post breakup and just a lot of betrayal, a lot of things found out after we broke up, a lot of lying, like pathologically lying, but thank God I grew out of that. I took name out my mouth and I began to really heal because like no one's gonna have that much power over me, and let him be bitter, not me. So yes, I genuinely wish the folks that are single and are actively dating, I wish y'all the best. I pray for y'all. Pray for yourselves. Pray for your mate. Honestly, single 5 years. I didn't start praying for a mate until like 3 years after being single. like praying, writing in my journal, affirming, making that list, and not being ashamed of what it is that you want. Fuck what society and other people gotta say, because the people that got something to say, their ain't together. Because y'all, some people that had no business telling me on how to date, they was sitting there giving me advice. And I'm gonna keep it real. At least I have some experience. My life, my relationship is semi-normal because is not perfect. So at least hopefully there's some like validation to what it is that I'm sharing because I'm speaking from direct experience. And honestly, all the best. And I rise like the day. I actually put on clothes, went outside, got some green juice. Bay's busy. He would have absolutely done it, but he's super busy today. Came back, threw on my bata, and I'm back where I've been since this morning. Thank you, Jascara, for that share. Ask for what you want. Ask for what you want and don't stop. This is within the context of dating. Don't stop until you get something that's very close to that, because you're not going to get perfection, but something that's very close to that. Remember, non-negotiables are important, but also let's be realistic, because sometimes some folks are very unrealistic with their non-negotiables. But it's about a balance of asking for what you want and don't stop until you get it. And another thing, when you're dating, please be upfront from the beginning. When I started dating Boli, date number 2, I was like, getting married and having children is absolutely important to me. You? And he was like, yep, same. All right, let's keep it moving. Because I've been in conversations with people, women in particular, that are like, that's so forward. Like, why would you tell him that on a second date? Because that's what I want. Why wouldn't I tell a human being what I would like? And then, like, it's just baffling to me. Dito is so, for me, it's so emotionally immature to show up that way, to be like, oh my God, why would you tell him what you want? That's so forward. Oh, that's going to scare him away. Well, then there, God, thank you, because you answered. That's an answered prayer. This is not my person. Be very, very clear with yourself and with the people you are dating. If you
walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Woo. Walk it like I talk it.
Feeling more human this afternoon. I slept in, I had a long night, and I was telling Boli, like, it feels like it's 11 o'clock in the morning for me. He was like, nope, this was a few minutes ago. He was like, nope, it's almost 3 o'clock. Wow to the feedback and the comments and the questions about my mini rant yesterday. I did want to show y'all something that I did do thanks to mommy. Is I put this little fella on his head. If you know, you know. This is Saint Anthony. You pray to Saint Anthony's for lost things. So it's like you lost the love and you're in search of it. So I kept him like this for years. And to be honest, earlier this year was when I flipped him, because I was so used to putting him like this that I was like, no, it's time to flip him. Good old San Antonio. My mom gave this to me like 2017. It was probably like the 4th one. I was like, I'm going to try it. And she has gifted a couple of my friends, one of which is now in a romantic relationship, the same card. And I just sent a version of this card to one of my friend's sisters and told her with a lot of faith, put homie on his head. Call it an old wives' tale, whatever. For me, it's not. I believe with all my heart in things like this. And also a love altar, right? Creating a love altar. If San Antonio is your thing, San Antonio, whatever your thing is, if you're going to write that list, put the list on the love altar. A love altar. So things that mean something to you, that you believe can attract love. On my love altar, I had a version of Oshun, the goddess of sensuality, fertility, love. You can put honey. I had like little hearts, like little ceramic hearts. The list that I made, affirmations, whatever you're called to. That's the thing I love about altar making. It's not like these set rules and it's like this is what you need to do. There's like general guidelines, but for the most part, you follow your heart, follow your intuition. But yeah, let me find out. I'm gonna have to hold some space and teach a class or two on aligning with the love that you seek. Yo, caliente. Came outside to brave the heat. Heating, one of my friend's messages, she sent me a very stern, gentle, important reminder que con los santos no se juegan. And if you are going to have Oshun on an altar, you have to, when you petition, you have to give her something in return. Oshun is on my fertility altar. It's a whole nother conversation, whole nother post. And I got dressed and came out and got some flowers for her. Look how cute these two different flowers. But I wanted to add something about dating that was very, very important to me. Something that was said to me, and again, this was via therapy, is make sure your loose ends in your life are tied up, right? Because sometimes we're caught up like, I want to mate, or I want a baby, or I want that job, or whatever it is that you are desiring in your life. But like, you a hot mess, keeping it real like I was. I was sitting here boo-hooing, wondering why I didn't have a mate. I had a whole dissertation to write. I had a whole lot of consumer debt to get out of. And I got really serious and committed. And shout outs to community, the village. Shout outs to another BFF, Kasan, who sat my down and was like, we gonna get you out of this debt. $13,000 of consumer. And she is very good with money. And for weeks, for months, was like, come through, sis. I'll help you out, but you gotta, we have to make it like a weekend thing. We'll have a sleepover. We'll go through your finances. And I was always like, nah, today, tomorrow. And one day she was like, no, sis, we gonna do this. And she warned me. I was like, I'm gonna need all of your finances. I'm gonna need APR, due date, the exact amount of what you owe, like showing her dirty laundry. And we sat a Friday evening, sleepover into Saturday morning, and ironed out my debt. Something I'd never done, and I was 34 at the time. I had never done that. Sat and looked at all my debt. Subscriptions, I remember being like, how the do I have that many subscriptions that were just going unused? And a whole dissertation to finish. And honestly, the message I got from Spirit was like, you're not going to get the life that you want with your mate until you finish this dissertation. And honestly, I cannot make this up. I signed my graduation, candidacy form in like mid-April, and a month and a half later was my first date with Boli. And everything just changed. Like, my life just changed. 2019, my life just changed completely. Years prior to that was just asking questions, right? I love that. I think it's Zora Neale Hurston. She says, there are years that ask questions, there are years that answer questions. I had many years that asked questions. 2019 for me, thank you God, was definitely a year that answered a lot of questions because I got my shit all the way together. So let this stick to whoever, needs to hear this. It's like, if you are like pining for a mate, and you deserve it and you want it, also take a good, honest look at where in your life are you neglecting yourself, your finances, your education, your responsibilities. Unless you want to align with a regular, degular, stray dog, stray cat, that's okay if you just want to have fun. But if you want something serious of a high caliber, you got to bring your A game, because we'll sit here and we'll be like, oh my God, I'll keep it real. Women, we do this a lot. Because I need a man with money. I need a man with money. And you ain't got no money. Or your finances ain't all there. And brothers, y'all do it too. Y'all do it too. So it's about, again, the theme is taking a hard, honest, loving look at yourself. So quickly showing you one aspect of my fertility altar. Just a quick visual. Most of us are visual learners. So this would be a great example of a love altar, right? You have your flowers, your water, some incense. Will be like the collective earth, air, water, fire. And this is part of my fertility altar, but it could be a love altar. You got Oshun, whoever you would like. I got Sis at a Dollar Tree in 2008. She's represented by the peacock feather. This heart was on my love altar. It was from Visiones. Shout outs to Mama Gloria Rodriguez, her De Almas Collective. One of the Visiones we attended, this was in the goodie bag, and I've had this for years. So this is a great example of an altar. I'll share.